A lot of my root concern here is the health of the development team and sustainability of the game, really.
Yeah.
I think
I get it.
You keep on putting your team through challenging launches, and they're going to get burnt out. And it's what you said, like, that work has to be done anyway. So in this case, I'm sure the people who have had to fix the myriad of bugs, spend a few days, firefighting problems, I'm sure they had some things that they would have ideally been getting on with that weren't responding to problems.
Yeah, like the next patch they're working on, which I'm sure they don't have. Like, I'm sure whoever's...
It'll be like a tick sort of talk thing.
Yeah, it's not like whoever is just finished work at 11.05 is immediately like, well, I have to finish this thing for 11.07, because that would be an insane way to run a company. And I think, like Holly said, basically they have different teams doing different things a lot. So it's not quite as immediate as the next patch is going to suffer. But the patch down the line is going to suffer. The one after that's going to suffer, because that employee is fucking tired. That employee, all of the employees are going to be tired. They're going to be stressed. And I know some people are like, it's your fucking job, do it. It's like there's an element of, from the level above that, you have to manage your employees to make sure they can do their job effectively. And also that Riot don't show up and go, would you like more money to do a much more fulfilling job with us? Please, thank you very much. Because that happens.
Orlando posted where his new job is, I think, yesterday on Twitter. It's a riot.
And it's not to say he was poached. Obviously he gave his reasons for leaving and all that stuff. But there might just be a little undercurrent thing of, well, I had to spend a load of time fixing a load of fucking bugs because I had to ship shit early. Won't happen at Riot, probably.
He'll certainly have a better salary at Riot.
Yeah.
And so Blizzard's problem here is, a large team is really damaging if you've also not been ruthless with talent density. And that's where, you never want it to happen, but I guess pruning the bonsai tree. Blizzard, if they kind of have this messy, weird situation with patches, your A players are quickly going to leave, and then you'll be stuck with people who actually can't go anywhere else because they're not as poachable.
Yeah,
because they're.
You have someone.
I'm not trying to sit here and be Mr. Stack Rank everybody. I'm not saying that. There's something to be said for talent density in organizations. And so if you continually have Awakening the Machines happening, which I'm not saying that, suddenly the War Within's ruined because of the Awakening the Machine. It's just the point, somebody probably worked in that, and it was probably disappointing that they weren't able to ship their proper vision for it. So if you keep on having things like that, or stuff like this going on, I motion to our screen that's got all the topics of today's show on. Yep. Your A players are going to be poached. And your talent density will go down. Some of those B players, some of the ones who, maybe they turn into Blizzard lifers, kind of end up being the sorts who are sort of development toxic, as was laid out in the Schreier book. Mm-hmm. As in, not toxic as in the big lawsuits, but I mean...
just damaging the morale by virtue of what they do and how they exist.
Even looking into the reasons why the survival game didn't ship and loads of other problems within Blizzard. Density of them will go up. Some of them may turn into C players. And then you're going to have to find you're going to find yourself having to root out and fire all your C players because they're just going to make everything worse. You can't let it crumble. You can't let it degrade. And if you're running this quick to the point where people are not going to get that much fulfillment from their job, then that's really risking the whole thing.
Yeah,
games are made by people.
That's the number one lesson that I think the entirety of games management completely fucking missed it.
Games are made by people, yes. Games are made by teams. And what you need is a high performance team. And that means a team with the right people and not with the wrong people. When more bad releases like this happen, you make it harder to build the team with the right people.
Yeah, because there's there's a degree of, well, Blizzard tried the other way. Blizzard had the best hires and they gave them all the time in the world to make all the game they wanted and make it perfect.
They didn't have the best hires. They had loads of internally promoted people who were out of touch with the rest of the industry.
Yeah, but on the time front, they tried to give people time to, you can make it perfect. We're sitting on this massive war chest. We can live forever, and just until we release the next big thing, and that didn't work out very well. And you're like, Jesus, well, what happened there? It's like you need to managing people's really, what's the term? Complex.
Yeah,
I'd say
it is.
This is complicated beyond anyone would believe, and that's why, like, I'd say most people don't particularly like their manager, probably on a global scale. Obviously, a lot of people are working in terms of pure numbers, a lot of people are working like kind of low jobs that are going to have kind of shitty managers, and there's nothing really going to help that. But I feel like the amount of people who have basically good managers are rare, I think, especially very good ones. Like there's good managers who let employees get on with their stuff, and that's usually that's one of the better types of manager. But then there's there's really good managers who can elevate people and bring the best out of them. I think that's really kind of difficult to do that, especially obviously that's the whole thing with the entirety of older game studios as they've grown. Like that was the Blizzard problem. You take a bunch of creatives and say, okay, you're managers now. You're like, uh-oh. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. Because the management archetype needs to be actually good at that. Otherwise it's otherwise it's just managed decline, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that this looks like it, if it isn't addressed relatively swiftly, if they're not looking at internal things like this and looking at internal markers going, okay, how is everyone feeling? Are we harm morale? What's going on? Are we going, everyone's a big team so we can all push through this for the players?
No. The WoW team is one that even to this day has, challenging morale.
Yeah. No, for a billion reasons.
It's very, very common knowledge.
Yeah, for a billion fucking reasons too. But.
Yeah, it's a useful thing I was just reading Schreier book and things. It's kind of challenging. If they need to keep 8 weeks, I think they just need to set different expectations for patches. They need to be more okay with patches not being for some people. Mm-hmm. Look, there doesn't need to be a raid. It was really cool and exciting that there was a raid.
Yeah, that is maybe one of the bigger red flags for me, is how good we have it in that particular sense. If you know what I mean. Yeah. It's it feels like this is way more than we should be getting, which probably means people overreached, which probably means they overscoped.
And then you see how it came out.
Probably overworked.
Yeah.
That's one of the things where you go, oh, everything's going really, really good. Why am I somewhat suspicious? You're like, yeah. Yeah, that feeling is like a human one for a reason. You're like, is luck about to run out? It is obviously luck doesn't run out, but it feels that way. And it probably feels that way for a reason. That's kind of how this feels specifically.